You're crying. Hey everyone, I am Yvette Lloyd, host of Life Her Podcast. We have Tammy and Lisa here, Twisted Royalty. And y'all, I'm telling y'all, their music is beautiful. It's so soothing, peaceful, and it just got a little soul to it. And I just love it. So, hey ladies,
Hi.
Hi.
how are you?
Good.
Good. How are you? Thanks for having us on your show.
Yeah.
Thank you for being on here. I'm good. So let's get started. So first and foremost, thank you again. I would like to know, like, how did you guys get into music? I know you started off as a young child with your uncle and father. So how did that go?
I mean, it's like, life began and we were born into a family of musicians. So there's that. And even though our dad and uncle were with the group Heatwave, lead singers, they were traveling the world and making great music, we were still just kids, and just growing up normal and experiencing a life where we got to travel, we got to hear their music and be surrounded and obviously influenced by their music. But we had a musical family in general. Our mum sings. She's also a writer. She was writing with Heatwave and singing background vocals, and she did other session like background vocals for artists. We grew up in church singing, and my mum's sisters, when they were young, they had a girl group. My dad's brothers sing. So it was just an all-encompassing, both sides of the family, lot of music, kind of indoctrinated from the beginning. We have cousins that sing, and so it's just been all around. I mean, really, it's kind of hard to be like, oh, and then one day it's just been life. Music has been what we grew up around. It was just normal. But I think for us, deciding to make that switch to doing, like, really pursuing a career, or at least a passion in music for ourselves, is probably when we were like teenagers. When we first, I never liked to sing. Tammy, this one, she liked to sing. She would sing on stage with my dad. She would sing on stage and I would just play instruments. I was really rebellious about being like typecast, like, oh, your dad's a singer, so you must be a singer. I'd be like, I don't sing. So it wasn't until much later on, that we decided, it was around that time when girl groups were big. Destiny's Child had just come out, 3LW, all the groups, and groups were a thing. And we too fell into that and had a girl group, and we got to do some things, obviously we got to open for Heatwave, we got to go in the studio, we did some stuff, but it didn't really take off, but it was probably the first taste of, okay, I think this is something that we would like to do. And fast forward, we moved to Atlanta with our family. Tammy and I became a duo, no longer part of a girl group. We got a live band and started to really think about what our sound was for us, because we're not Heatwave. We grew up with Heatwave, but we're not Heatwave. So to define our path and our sound, and we're blessed that we have, I think Tammy would agree, we got some similarities, and we've got that kinship of family when it comes to harmony. We kind of have that sound, but Twisted Royalty had to make its own path, so that's where we are.
Dope. So Tammy, you was already hitting the stage.
Oh yeah.
Just being all that you could be. So what gave you that drive, like, for you just not to be shy and just be into everything as far as music? And Lisa in the background, she just like, forget y'all, I'm about to be here. But you were just out here.
I don't know. I think, like Lisa was saying, because we kind of growing up, like, we were always on stage or on the side of the stage or in the studio. So I think just my personality, me and Lisa's younger sister, we used to sing all the time, like at church or run on stage and do dances on Heatwave shows or whatever. And our little brother, he, same thing, performing all the time. So I think that, like, for me, I loved it. I wasn't shy. I loved to be on stage. We also grew up in dance school. I loved to perform. No good at acting, but Lisa was really into theater. I was more music. Yeah.
That is dope. So how do you guys balance each other on who likes what or how things are going? Because sometimes, you know, siblings, you used to your sibling. And one sibling can get on another sibling's nerve. And you feel like, just get out my face, leave me alone. So
Yeah.
how do you guys balance that and still get along with each other and still going?
I would say that, one thing that I love about singing with Lisa is that we truly are best friends. Like we're very, very different. Like from how we dress, we have a lot of the same, like similar style of music, but we also have very different, likes in music and what we like to do hobby-wise. And we're very different, but we have the same humor. So I think what also helps because we are sisters, we also know each other really, really well. So whereas when you're in a group with somebody that you're just kind of getting to know, we might argue, but then 5 minutes later,
Fine.
we're fine. And a lot of the times, and when it comes to music, when it comes to writing music, we really don't. We're usually on the same page because we have different elements that we add. When we're singing in the studio, we kind of know our lanes and who does what really well. And probably the only time that we probably get into it is over wardrobe, like when we're doing a show and deciding like what I'm usually more like hippie free and like bright colors or a little
and
wild.
I like that stuff too. I just no, it's not Tammy's gonna make it see we're about to have a fight now because she's gonna make it sound like I'm over here in a little house on the prairie and she's just so funny and cool. No. We have body types, different insecurities, we have different, and so a lot of times it comes down to, okay, I want us both to look good. And then I'll feel like she's like, well, I'm going to wear this. And I'll be like, yeah, but I can't wear that because that's not my body type. So like, and then we have a fight and everyone has to witness it and everyone has to hear it. And the thing is, we always told, we had a friend come to the studio when we were recording and she'd never been in the studio before. And I was like, listen, I'm just going to give you a heads up. While we're in here, my sister and I might go at it. Just know it's just in this moment.
In that moment.
We are going to be completely over it by the time we finish talking. So like everybody else in the room will be like, oh. And we're like, oh, okay.
So anyways, back to that joke. Did you see this song? Yeah.
Just like, we gonna get over it eventually. I'm just giving you a heads up.
Yeah.
Not even eventually. We're gonna get
it's
over
fast.
It immediately. We're gonna get over
it'll be like 5 minutes later, we're fine. It's just that we're sisters. So, we are gonna duke it out a little different because we know that we love each other. We know that we're best friends. We also know our characters and we've only known each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, so for us it's just normal.
Yeah.
That is so crazy. So tell me about you guys' experience for when you were in a girls group 10 years ago.
That was more than 10 years ago now, but we're not going to age ourselves. But I mean, you know what? It was actually a really great experience. Our girl groups were mostly like, we did the whole lineup change, like every girl group. There was like
different members.
You said what?
I said different members at different times.
Yeah. And, it would be like, oh, this person left, now we got this person. So that happened for sure. When we our very first ever girl group was us two and two other sisters. And that was cool. They lived across the country in Washington State, and we were living in Washington, D.C. or Northern Virginia. They came, we met online, made a group. They came.
Really?
Yes.
That's different.
We met online, became friends in I'm going to date it, on AOL. Like on AOL, we became friends and ended up making a group together. They came across country. We recorded some music, but we were really young and they were homesick. And, we just decided to kind of disband because that was a really big distance, especially as young women at the time. And so then we got new members, but they were always like our friends. People we knew. So there wasn't really this we held a big audition and there were strangers. It was always relationship. Like we knew other singers, we knew other people who could sing. So, you know, we had the dramas and the ups and downs, but maybe the difference was that we always knew the people we were working with. So, you know,
and well, I think I have the best memories of when we did the girl group thing. I really enjoyed it. I think it really helped us with performing. We traveled a lot. We performed in front of so many different audiences, and you know, we got to go to Canada. We went to England. We did so many things, and I really think that it's helped shape me and Lisa today.
That's dope. Like seriously, just even experience the girl group and figuring things out. And how are you guys figuring out musically from like transitioning from different things and trying not to have music similar to your father and uncle?
I think we're okay with it being similar. Like we do some Heatwave covers. You know, we did a cover of Always and Forever, but we did it our style. We did a more acoustic, stripped down version.
Right.
You know, that's in our blood. It's there. I don't think we can escape it. But I think also, you know, we are not like products of the 50s and 60s and 70s, you know, so our tastes are different. The elements we bring to our music are very much a representation of the music we like. And so, you know, I don't think it's been a struggle. It hasn't been like, oh, how do we not write like Heatwave? Because we're not Johnny Wilder, we're not, you know, so that's not how we write. I think it's been more of just defining our own sound. And sometimes we don't fit in a perfect box. We're not R&B, we're not all together soul, we're not all reggae, we're not, you know, we embody it's more, I'd say the challenge is more so there, you know, when people say, so what's your music? And we're like, funk, pop, acoustic, soul.
It was giving me a soul vibe.
Okay, that's
good. It was just smooth. Like it's like you could do different dance styles too.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so it was pretty dope, the video you guys have.
Thank
you. And that's what I hope. I mean, I hope when people hear our stuff that, you know, they can identify with, like, if there are people that like jazz, they'll be like, oh, they had this raw jazz feel, or, you know, oh, they had a really cool little reggae vibe on this song, or, you know, whatever, because we do really love all types of music. And I think we embody little bits of all types in our writing styles.
That is dope. So I was Lisa, before you came on, I was asking Tammy, would y'all mind me showing y'all's video? Because I think it's really dope.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I'm gonna show the audience y'all's video so they can go watch it, subscribe, and wait until the other music drop too.
Yes, coming. This was the debut speech as a friend of ours, and we had an opportunity, you know, it was COVID, and we had an opportunity to get together and write some music. So this was the product, but there's definitely more music from us coming. So
stay tuned. Sure. So do you guys want to say anything else before I actually play it?
I hope you like it.
It's unicorn.
Here we go.
To the crab apple. We got our slick, it turned out to be such a dub apple. Once you said it, it was sad that we cannot grab back at you with a lasso. Neither of us were wackos, just couldn't get out of our own ways. Only looking back and I see that though. We should slow down, calm down, that's such a fast road. Right? Got in the way of our life, it's natural. We need to divide the feelings from the factual. I think those relationships will work. From the jump, we understood that it's work. Something that makes us think that it's all in the flirts. Romantic dinners and nice desserts. All the perks of being in love and under hurt. Two people coming together, it's such a unicorn. Two people coming together, it's such a unicorn. Two people lasting forever. I ain't hoping we can try again. I can see things that I didn't see before now. You got me about it. And who has the heart to start from the ground floor again? Not me. I wish you and I could start again. I have a feeling we could do better. I hope we can try again. I can see things that I can't see before now. You know that we can alive. Who has the heart to start from the ground floor again? Not me. I wish you and I could start again. I have a feeling we could do better. So, all the things tell me how to bring it back. What are we bringing to the table? Stop. I appreciate the conversation so we can. I know we can get it to hear me. Tell me how we keep it back. Elevate our minds and share. Unity's all unicorn. Two in love is very best to me. It's magical. To just when the broken pieces hold together. Back and forth like changing seasons. But like the time we're about to show again. How do we keep it here? All the time we'll pay it. Do we do it all again? Are you ready to unicorn? Two in love and bring it back some more. I think those relationships would work. If from the jump we understood that it's work. And something makes us think that it's all in the flirts. Romantic dinners and nice desserts. All the perks of being in love but none of the hurt. Now, two people coming together, it's such a unicorn. Two people coming together, it's such a unicorn. Two people lasting forever. I am hoping we can try again. I can see things that I can't see before now. You know that we can alive. Who has the heart to start from the ground floor again? Not me. I wish you and I could start again. I have a feeling we could do better. I hope we can try it. I can see things that I can't see before now. You know that we can alive. Who has the heart to start from the ground floor again? Not me. I wish you and I could start again. I have a feeling we could do better. Yeah, two people coming together, it's such a unicorn. 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 Two people coming together, I hope you can try again. You know that we put a lot in. Who was so hard to start from the ground floor again? Not me. I wish that we could start again. I have a feeling that we can do
You guys are crazy dope, man. So how did I feel just watching it like that again?
It's cool. I like it. It's a cool feeling.
Y'all so laid back, I swear.
It was a
Like,
good day. That was
cool. This is just cool.
I just think that was fun. We had a good time doing that. It was
We
a good
did.
day, and
We did.
Tell it seemed like it was just natural. Like it's just, yeah, we about to just go ahead and do this. That's what it is. So, how did you guys come up with the lyrics, the concept, and everything?
it was definitely a joint effort. I think, there was some of the framework in terms of what Speech had written prior to what we wrote. So there was some that kind of like we had to interpret what he wrote into what we thought the song was about. And so then our verses were a representation of that kind of call and answer. So it was a really shared experience where he was kind of like, okay, this is what I came up with. This is what I'm rapping. and that he had already done that part, and then we filled in all the color and filled in our verses around that. So the concept was kind of already laid out for us to interpret, you know, because on its own, any one part can be interpreted however you want. So we kind of wrote our verses from the perspective of how we interpreted what he was rapping, and that's how you got Unicorn.
So how did you guys define unicorn together, of people coming together?
I mean, Tammy, you can answer. To me, it's about the ups and downs of a relationship and being able to ride it, you know, and being able to say, listen, two people who recognize that they're imperfect and that feel like they have something good and still stay together and make it work. That is a unicorn. That is one in a million. That is a diamond in the rough. You know, like, we know it exists. We know people that have that love. I feel like I'm in a great marriage, that I have that kind of love. But at the end of the day, it's the longevity and it's the work you put in. And, you know, it is saying like, hey, it's not all roses. It's not all just like dinners and stuff. You know, it's the hard work. And then when you do mess up, are you willing to come back around and say, let's do the right thing? So that's what it is to me. I don't know, Tammy, you might have something else.
Sound went out for me, but but from what I could hear, what you guys were saying, yeah, I think one of my favorite lines in the song is, I think most relationships could work if they understood that it's work. You know, like, it takes work for a relationship to work, and if you understand that before you go in, that this is going to be a journey, right? And we're going to have ups and downs, but if we both work at it, it can be a beautiful thing. And, you know, we've all been in relationships, and that's the truth, you know. So I like the realness of it, you know.
That's dope. So one of my questions is, how do you guys hide your British accent when you're singing?
I don't think it's a hiding thing.
It's just, you really don't hear it. It's like you just, I don't know, it just goes away or something.
I feel like you hear it in certain words. I think Tammy's having a bad connection wherever she is.
Come back.
But yeah, I don't think it ever, like, it does go away to an extent, but I think you find that with most singers from the UK.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
You don't really hear it, but there are certain words and certain songs where I think you hear it come out a little bit more. But in general, I think maybe just from singing in choir in school in England and stuff, you learn that certain vowels and certain sounds are more universal in song. So like the way we might say a word in song, sometimes it would change the tone if we said it in our accent, which could essentially make the song sound flat or sharp, depending on how you're pronouncing a word. So there's times when it's completely appropriate to say the word in the way we talk. And then there's times when the song just doesn't call for it. It calls for a more accent generic sound.
Okay.
What you get.
Wow. So, she said she can't hear us. She's coming in everywhere. Let me see. Can you hear us now, Tammy?
You hear
us? Let me see. Hopefully I don't know. It's probably her sound. But one of the things, so what do you guys have coming up?
Well, right now, I mean, honestly, we're about to shut it down in terms of publicly for the next 2 or 3 months, just because we have a ton of work we're doing behind the scenes. Prepping for a really, really great 2023. So right now, the goal is we have like the songs we were telling you about earlier. We have other stuff. We're going to get that out on all streaming platforms, just so that people can find us off. You know, there's life after Unicorn. So after they listen to Unicorn, they'll be able to see just some songs that we recorded over the summer. The couple Heatwave covers that we did are on there, as well as a few originals, and they'll all be on Spotify, iTunes, all the things. So after you search Unicorn and listen to it, you should start to see our other tracks. And in the meantime, we're actually working on some new music and preparing to be doing live shows in the new year. So we are kind of taking a little public hiatus to
right.
work, put in the work, get our show together, and with the band, work on new music so that we can start the new year. So.
Yes. Oh, I'm gonna have to come see you guys live because I love your music and I can imagine how beautiful it will sound in person.
Thank you. We prefer, honestly, like performing live is our favorite over everything. So it's always a fun experience to have the music, it's like happening.
Yes. Yes, for sure. So can you leave it letting our audience know how to follow you guys, how to contact you?
Yeah, we are at Twisted Royalty Band on Instagram. For some reason, Twisted Royalty was taken, so it's Twisted Royalty Band on Instagram. And then we're at Twisted Royalty on Twitter, at Twisted Royalty on TikTok.
Everywhere.
I'm just going to tell you,
all over the place.
We're not social media people, so we're a little bit slow to that game. So
really?
we need followers. So if you see us on TikTok, there's probably like no followers because we just got a TikTok. So we're trying to you have to bear with us. We're old school, so we're ramping up. But we are.
You guys have to.
I know.
To hear you. We're in an era now where people want to hear music that you guys are releasing now. You don't nobody want to hear all that ruckus.
That's true. It's very true.
I want to hear peace where we could be at home cleaning up, cooking,
just jamming.
Music you can listen to with your kids in the room, and you don't have to turn it off.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so y'all gotta keep it coming.
Yes. That's what we'll be doing over the next few months. We're really just kind of woodshedding. We're gonna, really working on the content for online, working on getting songs out, working on new music to share with everyone, and getting dates booked into next year so that we can start the new year with a laundry list of fun things going on. But please keep up with us on social media, follow our Instagrams and Facebooks, and as we start to push stuff out more and as the year ends, we will definitely be putting where to find us for live.
I'm excited for y'all. Well, thank you so much for being on Life Heard Podcast tonight.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, nice to meet y'all too. And I wish you guys the best. And I am going to be following y'all to see when them concert dates gonna start hitting.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Good night.
Have a good night. Bye.